Okay, so I'm back, y'all. All right, Doc Ox back in the house. All right, and of course, we got is that my camera dirt? I'm sorry, y'all. Give me one second. I think my camera dirt. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. But yeah, okay. So we do have Valentine's Day coming up. So of course we're gonna talk about some V-Day stuff, just a smidge. But we're gonna put the scientific spin on it, all right? So love is in the air. Everywhere I look around, that type of situation. So we're like, what is love? Like, we talk about love all the time on all of our shows. We know what God's love is. We know what unconditional love is. It's a thing that you do. It's a thought process. It's a state of being. Okay, but the love that we're going to talk about today is the chemical body process that occurs during lust, attraction, and attachment. And I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced, this at some point or another. We're not sure exactly, the source of that in the scientific method that we're going to be talking about today. But we know what that feels like, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why you feel the way that you feel, okay? I know it's kind of weird, like when somebody tells you how you feeling. Like, yeah, how you going to tell me why I'm feeling how I'm feeling? Well, I'm going to do it today. All right. I'm going to do it today. So it's, and I actually looked it up. So Harvard, Harvard, they like to study stuff like just randomness, because they got time and money and really smart people to do it. So why not? So, Harvard, actually, like, I love using their website for a lot of my scientific research. So them, I like Healthline. It's a couple of other sites I use too. The national, like, this is like the actual, like, government. I would say it's a government website. Yeah, it's a government website. So they have their own, like, kind of scientific research and stuff that they pull and do for certain things to kind of present information for consumers, so for the people. So I like to use those websites because they tend to be credible and they have actual scientific research and papers linked to what's being written on that page, on that particular page or article. So that's why I like using those. But to go ahead and this gnat, my bad, y'all. So, but to go ahead and get on into it. Hey, Mary. Yes. So to get on into it, we're gonna start with lust, because let's get you in trouble, okay? It gets you in trouble, and here's why. Because lust is basically propelled by our sex hormones. So from your loins, so from the testicles and your ovaries, those hormones are being produced, and it literally revs up your whole entire body from head to toe. Your body is being drenched in testosterone and estrogen. It's varying levels based on if you're a man or a woman, but both hormones are present in both men and women, and it is normal. Okay, just to make that clear. And then for women, as our body cycles through our menstrual cycle, our levels of hormones, our estrogen and our testosterone, changes at varying times. So a lot of times just before we ovulate, we actually have higher levels of estrogen and testosterone. And so that's why we tend to get a little bit more aggressive and things like that, because we have higher levels of those hormones in us. And really that's actually to kind of give us some motivation to reproduce, because that's what that's our biological purpose, is to reproduce, to be fruitful and multiply. Yeah, and you talk about, like, yeah, so that's what it's about. Our bodies already know how to be fruitful and multiply. It's our brains that kind of have to direct it and make it a useful fruit. Okay, so that's kind of where that is coming from with that particular part. So lust, okay, pretty cut and dry. So your hormones are spiked, and it's usually triggered in your brain by the hypothalamus. So your hypothalamus is like the little peanut looking thing. Like, have you ever opened up a peanut and it you see how it looks and it has that little groove in the middle? That's kind of what your hypothalamus looks like in your brain. And so then that actually triggers the release of those hormones from your sex organs, and then boom, you're out looking for a reproductive mate. And so pretty much that's what gets you on the prowl. Then we work our way into the attraction hormones. So once you are physically attracted, because I call the lust the physical attraction. Once you are physically attracted to someone, you know, oh yeah, I would definitely want to mate with that person. Like, then now your body has to make it make sense at this point. It's like, oh, okay, so now the comfort level and thing, all that comes in. That's where the attraction comes into play. And so with those, we have dopamine. I don't know, depending on, I guess, how science savvy you are and how many different conversations you have with people, you probably hear a lot about dopamine, and it's usually tied to addiction. Go figure. So you can literally be addicted to love. That's a song. I'm addicted to love. I'm gonna have to find that song now. But yes, it's a song, and that's why, because dopamine is one of the main hormones that are attached to the attraction phase. And so the dopamine, that's the happy hormone. So, and also serotonin is also linked in that phase as well. And norepinephrine. So norepinephrine is like adrenaline. So it's basically the same compound with some slight differences, and they have a slightly different job. But if you can imagine what your body is like on pure adrenaline, noradrenaline or norepinephrine is kind of like, okay, cool, thank you. And norepinephrine is essentially like adrenaline in your body. So that's where the excited phase, so the heart racing, the sweaty palms, the messed up speech, and you stumbling over your words, you can't figure out how to respond. Like, hey, how are you? What's your name? You forgot your name. You can thank norepinephrine for that. So that's why, when you're talking to someone that you're attracted to, so not just someone that you're sexually attracted to, so someone that you're just lusting over, when you're talking to someone that you're actually attracted to, it kind of gets hard to, play it cool, be like, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I guess the people that can stay cool when they're talking to someone they're attracted to, they probably have a better handle on their hormones at that point. And also just, your prefrontal cortex, so where your thinking brain is, gets shut down. Like it literally shuts down, like bloop. And that's why the words are like, and they're like, what's wrong with this person? Like, they like you. That's why. Oh. And so that also can explain why, especially in like younger people, like children and teens, they tend to, instead of expressing verbally, oh, I like you, oh, this, that, and they like hit somebody, pull the hair, throwing stuff, like that type of stuff, because they're prefrontal cortex is shut down, and because it's already not that developed, because they're young, they don't know that that's what's going on, and they don't have that much of a handle on all of that to still be able to form words, as opposed to just hitting someone or pushing them or pulling their hair or saying whatever the first thing that can come to mind, and it's usually something mean or something that will push the person away, as opposed to making them think, oh, this person actually likes me, this person actually wants to be around me. So and honestly, it's some adults that kind of still do that. So you might want to build up the prefrontal cortex so that your body hormones don't shut it all the way down, and you can still have a legible comfortable and proper conversation with someone that you're attracted to. So, right. Yes. So that, yeah. Over again, back to when you were a child. Yes, it will, like, yeah, revert you back to, yeah. So get a handle on your stuff, all right? And then the final phase after attraction is attachment. And with attachment, we have oxytocin and vasopressin. So those are the main hormones that are released in that phase. And a lot of times, like, you mostly hear about oxytocin in reference to mother-child bonds, because that is a normal hormone that's released during childbirth. So a large amount is released during childbirth so that the mother feels attached to the baby and will actually take care of it. So it's literally meant for the survival of the human species. So oxytocin is extremely important just for the proliferation of our species here. And so with that hormone, it actually is consistently released throughout, especially the earlier stages after childbirth, when if a mother is breastfeeding. So it's also released during breastfeeding, and also during sex. So that's why if after sex you do the cuddle thing, that attachment is furthered, because cuddling actually does cause your body to release oxytocin, among a couple of other hormones that actually do help increase your immune system. So cuddling actually gives you a stronger immune system. So cuddle up, okay, to fight off all of whatever the cold and the flu. They'd be like, oh, it's flu season, time to cuddle up. All right. So that actually does help with the general strength of your immune system, cuddling. And then not just the hormones that are released, but also the simple fact that you are coming into contact with a whole different microbiome. So if you just picture yourself as a walking germ, and then someone else is a different walking germ, now you've come into contact with a different type of walking germ. And so it's actually building your immune system, is strengthening your immune system, because it's giving your immune system something to do. It's giving it something to do. It's like lifting weights. So it's gonna build that muscle, that immune muscle, because you're coming into contact with this other person who has a different bacterial and viral profile, because they come into contact with different things as well. So that's a very good way and a very simple way to build your immune system. So yeah, and that's why people that tend to have pets tend to not get sick as much, because their pets actually help them build their immune system. Same with babies. Like a baby, a brand, fresh newborn baby in a home with pets actually has a much stronger immune system than a baby that lives in a pet-free home that's like sanitized top to bottom, air purified, and all that stuff. Like, you are actually doing your baby a disservice by going through those extensive lengths to sanitize everything. Like, it's not that serious, like for real. If we needed to be brought up in a bubble, like, we would not be almost 8 billion strong right now. I promise you, they'll be all right. Okay, we'll a little bit of dust, they'll be okay. All right. And so with those three phases, they do occur pretty much separately from each other. So one can occur without the other happening, obviously, because you are attached to family members. You are attracted to friends, because attraction is not necessarily like, it's not lust. It's not a sexual attraction. When we say attracted, sometimes people automatically think like sexualness. That's not the case. You are attracted to your friends. Otherwise, you would not want to be around them. Like, that's pretty much what attraction is. It's like you are drawn to a space, and you are drawn to share experiences and communicate with a person. That is attraction. That's what it is. So those can all occur separately, and it's a good thing that they do. Otherwise, problems occur. Okay, and we all know stories that fit that bill. We don't have to go into detail here. So with that being said, where we at? Oh yeah. So there is a such thing as too much of a good thing, because with dopamine, I know they have like I know it was a couple of years ago, they had like this big like unplug campaign to like kind of manage your dopamine levels. And so social media is like a very big source of dopamine overload. So I know I've actually ran into a thread where there's a couple of people that said that they've turned off their likes, so they can't see how many likes and stuff a post gets, because that is a source of a dopamine rush. When you put up a picture and you see that this picture, you living your life, and you choose all and you look up, you got 234 likes, like, oh, I'm pretty, people like me. That's dopamine rush immediately. And then if you're constantly doing that, it's going to get you addicted. That's what that addiction. And if you already have like OCD tendencies, it can get messy and hairy very quickly. All right. So with when there's too much dopamine and too much oxytocin, you get a very unhealthy attachment, a very addictive personality kind of forming there, and a very unhealthy bond in relationship. And so the I guess the overload of the dopamine and the serotonin and the oxytocin there, no, serotonin and what was that one? Norepinephrine. So they actually have a nice little let me get to that picture though. Yeah, so here it is. So this is the visual that they actually gave for that. And that's where the addiction comes in, the overdoing it. And then also, those very same hormones actually kill your appetite. So serotonin regulates your appetite and your sleep cycle. So if you are on a serotonin and a dopamine high, you're going to sleep less and eat less. So you can literally, like, you know, like be like, oh, I can't eat, I can't sleep. So in the yeah, that's why, because your hormones are messing up your signals to your brain to tell you, hey, you're hungry, you need to eat some food. Hey, it's time to go to bed and get some sleep. And so now you're creating a much larger imbalance on the back end of that, because your sleep regulates a whole lot of functions in your body. And it also helps reset a lot of things in your body. So if you're getting less sleep and you're not getting into that deep sleep phase, because you do have to sleep for a certain length of time before your body actually enters deep sleep. And that's where a lot of the cellular repair occurs, because your brain is at its lowest amount of activity at that point. And so your brain actually uses a ton of energy, if you didn't know that. So deep thought and thinking and solving really, really difficult problems actually burns a lot of calories. And that's why a lot of times when you're studying or you're reading something or you're going over something that you're not familiar with and you start getting a headache, you get hungry. You want a snack, you want to eat something sweet. That's your brain asking for more energy, because your brain runs on glucose. It runs on pure energy, carbs and glucose. So that is your brain's preferred method of energy. The people that's on like the keto diets and stuff, yes, you can still function on in ketosis and stuff like that, but your brain is preferring sugar, which is why it's a lot harder to kind of go into ketosis and stay there. That initial phase is very important, because the moment you eat sugar, your brain is going to revert back to using sugar as its main source, and it's going to make you crave more sugary, more carbs, and things like that. So that's why they say it's very important to, if you're trying to go into ketosis, that you really avoid those at all costs, because it'll not only bring you out of ketosis, but it makes it much harder to get back into it and remain in it, because your brain is in that craving phase at that point. So with that being said, so now not only are you being overrun by these hormones, but now you're sleep deprived, you're hungry, so you're slightly malnourished, and you might have been malnourished before, depending on what your lifestyle was like before this occurred, before this deep attraction, this honeymoon phase of love that you're in. And so now you're pretty much a total wreck at this point. You don't even know it, because you looking at the world through these rosy love colored glasses, and you think like, oh yeah, this is great. So now you are kind of getting into the obsessed portion, because now your body is consistently overrun by these hormones. You're not getting enough sleep to flush your body of it. You're not eating enough to flush your body, so you're probably not drinking enough water to do so either. So it's a very vicious cycle that can end in, what is this they say, irrational behavior. Because remember, those hormones, they shut down your prefrontal cortex, and that's where thought process happens. That's where cognition, problem solving, critical thinking, all of that happens in your prefrontal cortex. And if it's shut down, guess what you're not doing? You're not thinking, you're not problem solving, you're not using critical thinking skills. So problems arise. Adultery, because guess what? You're not thinking clearly. You're not, because you're only focused on the reward at this point. That's what dopamine is. It's the reward hormone. So you're only focused on the reward. So your prefrontal cortex shuts down. Your good decision making, yeah, that you're gonna make very bad decisions. That's why it's like, oh well, I was drunk, and that makes it worse, because guess what alcohol does? It also affects your prefrontal cortex, and it immediately shuts down your inhibitions. So now not only are you uninhibited, but your prefrontal cortex is also impaired because of your normal hormones. And now, like, come on. So, and then, but they were like, oh, that's not an excuse. It is, because biologically our bodies are weak. That's why it has a brain. Because if our bodies were brainless, we would be screwed out here, like big time. Because our bodies are very efficient machines, and whatever goes in is going to come out. If you put garbage in, garbage is going to come out. That's just how our bodies work. And so without the brain, we can't make sure that garbage is not consistently going in. So that's what we're getting out. So we have to use our brains. Okay. That's why we have them. That's why we are the only species that has a brain the size that it is. So when we are, struggling with, with our thoughts and things like that, be grateful. Be grateful, because we're the only species that's doing that. The only one. I don't care how smart the whatever it is. It's smart for it. For it. It is not smarter than us. And the minute that we forget that is the minute that we start acting like animals out here. And then want to use that as no. It is your responsibility to build your brain, to build your cognition, so that you have a shield on your prefrontal cortex from these hormones that they're gonna come up. It ain't nothing you can do to stop it. I'll tell you this right now, not a thing, not one single thing you can do, because it's the normal function of our body. We are meant to be attracted to people. We are meant to have lust. We are meant to have attachments. It is meant, our bodies were built that way. If it wasn't built that way, it wouldn't occur. But we have a brain. And that is where the what is that? What is when you reel yourself in? Not not restriction. Because it's not quite a restriction. It'll come to me. I'm not in love. I ain't use that word in a minute. I promise. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. All right. So yeah, that's why our brains are the control, the command center for our bodies, because our bodies are run by chemicals. We're a walking, talking chemistry set. That's it. Stuff goes in, a reaction occurs, something else comes out. That's it. And when they're at ideal levels, that's when you get the proper stages. That's when you get lust, attraction, and attachment. But when they're overrun, lust becomes irrational behavior. And attraction ends up adultery, because now you're not just being attracted to the person that you were initially, going through that process where you're attracted to whoever can get it. That's when you see them people out there saying that mess, that type of mess. Like, they need to take a chill pill. That's what it is. You need drink some water. Or they say you need some milk. Drink some water. Plenty of water, plenty of rest, and eat you a nice big salad. Yeah, you need the greeneries, because you need some zinc and selenium and stuff, and magnesium. I mean, you need some zinc, selenium, and magnesium, sir. Calm down. And the jealousy. You see, they got somebody fighting. Because those same hormones trigger our fight or flight system. So imagine your body is getting this. Your body doesn't know. Your brain knows. It's your body that does not know. It don't have a clue what's going on. Your body can think that either you're being attacked or you're in a dangerous situation. It doesn't know, like, oh, they just acting like this because such and such around, they like them. Your body does not know that. Your body doesn't know that. You have to actually hold that thought in your mind and tell your body what's going on. That's how you regain control of your body. You have to literally think control over your body. Otherwise, your body will control you. It will take over your mind. Like I said, it already shuts down the prefrontal cortex. It's like what they say when the cat's away, the mice will play. That's what the body is, the mice. And it already know we're gonna cover the cat eyes right here. They're just not gonna know. It's not gonna know what we're doing. No. Okay. You have to tell your body that you're the one that's in charge. Even with fear. Like I watched, some of those the motivational videos and stuff. The 5 second rule lady. I forget her name. But she was saying, like, the way she deals with it, your body doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement. You have to tell your body what's going on. I'm not afraid of such and such happening. I'm excited to go and talk to all of these people. I'm excited for this job interview. I'm excited to try this new thing. And then that's what's going to reprogram your body so that it becomes a visceral, a physical response of excitement as opposed to a physical response of fear. And your body is telling your brain that it's afraid, as opposed to the other way around, that your brain is telling your body that it's excited. And then your body's going to understand, like, oh, I'm excited. And it's going to be in sync. It's going to be an in sync response, your body and brain. I'm excited. And then when you do that with love, with these attractions, with these type of with these sections, these steps, oh, I'm lusting over this person. I don't know nothing about this person. I don't know enough about this person to feel like this. Like, I'm just lusting over this person. Okay. Then when you actually get in front of this person, you're trying to talk to them, it's like, dang, like, what's going on? Like, usually, you know, I'm smooth. Oh, I might actually be attracted to this person. And you know what also helps? When you tell them, yeah, okay, you see how that works, right? Yeah. So now you're telling not only are you telling yourself the truth, but you're telling the other person the truth. And then you know what that does? That helps set the ground for expectation. And then that way they know, oh, well, when I'm around this person, if they're acting like this, oh, it's because they like me. It's not because something is wrong with them. They're not clumsy. They just like me. So it really does affect like your actual physical, like how you can move, like people that be tripping and fall, literally because you like your hormones are like messing with your body. And you don't. So when you actually verbalize and vocalize that, you are putting your prefrontal cortex back in the driver's seat. When you do that, yeah, it might be a scary suit. Like, what if they don't like me back? That ain't none of your business. If they don't like you back, that's probably why they're okay not falling all over the place or stumbling over their words and stuff. Let them be them and live their life. You pay attention to what you're doing so you don't fall and crack your face. All right. Then on the last part, when y'all finally are on the same page, like, oh, okay, so they know I'm attracted to them. So now I see them putting effort in to see if they're attracted to me themselves. Now, guess what? You both are using your prefrontal cortex, your thinking part of your brain, to actually build something sustainable. And that is where you can bring in the God love, the agape, the unconditional love, not the hormonal love that's going to have you out here fighting or messing with the chick up the street or the checkout dude at Walmart. Like, no, that's how you keep those type of issues out of your relationship, when you are open and upfront about what it is that you're physically feeling first. And then that way you can really get back in the driver's seat in your mind and be in control of what's going on, and put that real actual effort in, that real work to build something real with someone and have an actual attraction. And then that way you're not attaching yourself to something that's built on sand. Because we know we all been there before. He ain't called me. She don't return my text messages. I tell her good morning, beautiful every day. She say, okay, babe. Like, that's what have you in that state, because you skipping steps. You're not being honest with yourself or with them. Like, all of that. Nothing but problems. Nothing but problems. So when you take back control over your body consciously, your hormones can be a help, not a hindrance. They will not push you over the edge. You can actually use that to your benefit. If you know that you feel more motivated when such and such is around, get around them and do some work. Ta-da! Problem solved. If you know that if you gonna fall asleep, if you studying by yourself or whatever, but you like such and such, and because you like them, you're not gonna want to sleep. Hey, get around such, like, hey, can I come study at your house? Like, you ain't even gotta stay. I just want to be around, somebody, because I know if I stay at home, I'm gonna go to sleep. That type of situation. Use it to your advantage. Put your prefrontal cortex in there. If you have to, before you get around them, write the plan out, because it shuts down. It's going to shut down because the hormones going to flood and your eyeballs going to get all big. Like what is that? The oxytocin is actually the the drug part of MDMA. It's a very concentrated, very heightened, and like you're basically overdosing on oxytocin. And so that's why it's, it's not, I've never tried it, and I wouldn't, because I know what's in it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to myself. Like, no, I already struggle with the regular stuff that my body producing itself. I ain't got time for that. So, so with that being said, if you already understand what your body is doing and why it's doing it, then you can make a plan and use it to your advantage. You can make a plan and actually build something sustainable from that. But if you're just kind of going with the flow and you don't know what's going on, then you hide whatever you got going on and all this other stuff, of course it's going to cause problems, because people aren't mind readers. They can't be like, oh, well, every time I get around them, they act all weird, but such and such said that they don't act like that around them. I wonder why. So, I mean, I've been ranting and raving for a little bit, but it is. And then I will also say, especially to parents, be understanding, be aware, because your children, they don't have a clue. They don't have any idea that this is what's going on in their bodies. And on top of that, their pituitary gland is extremely active because it's stimulating the growth hormone. That's how they grow. That's how they actually get bigger. So that's being stimulated. So all of these hormones are actually in overdrive at this point. So you have to educate them. You have to encourage them to understand what their body is doing and why it's doing it. Don't shy away from it. Don't be afraid, like, oh, well, if I tell them, then they want to go out and do, like, no, I'd rather they want to go out and do it fully informed than go out and do it and not have a clue what they got going on, because I can't stop them from doing nothing. I can't stop nothing, not one single thing, because I'm only one person in this body, and it's the only body I got control over. All I can do is make sure that I've done my part and arm my daughter with information, with knowledge. That's why I say knowledge is power, because what you don't know can hurt you. And it absolutely does. And we've seen it generation after generation, the ignorance that is passed down and perpetuated just from people being afraid to have certain types of conversations, or not having enough information themselves to have that type of conversation. So if you don't know, educate yourself. If you don't know, educate yourself with your family. It doesn't have to be a secret, or you in the closet reading books about, like, I should know this already. No, you shouldn't know it if it wasn't taught to you. So you can't feel bad about it. Like, that's the whole purpose of us doing this here, so that you can be informed, so that you can get that curiosity sparked again. And you can go and find the information yourself. You know what you don't know. And a lot of times you don't know what you don't know until you know it. It's like, oh, I didn't even know that. So if you seek the information, you will absolutely find it. Like it says, if you seek, you will find. If you ask, you will receive. So, hey, ask, receive, seek, find. You got to learn and teach. Don't just learn and learn it and then teach it to someone else. Say it even if you think they know. Say it anyway. At least give them a chance to agree or disagree. Whatever it is, like, and that's the main source of growth, of actually being. Like, you ever think about that? Like, just being is like the source of like learning something. Like, there's never not a day that I was like, oh yeah, I know everything. Ever. Never. I've never said like, yeah, I don't need to learn that. I already know that. No, because I'm going to see. I'm like, well, I wonder what they're going to say. It could be a topic like, I went to school. I have a BS in chemistry. I started a master's in polymer and coating science, where they went into all of that stuff. But I ain't never sat nowhere and said I know everything, or not listen because I think that I already know what they're going to say. I don't know what them people going to say out their mouth. I want to know too. Oh, you talking about what? Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that. Oh, I wouldn't even thought to say it like that. Like, perspective, at least. Get a different perspective, if nothing else. And I'm telling you, life will be so much easier. So much more colorful at that. Like, imagine if you looked at the same window at the same angle every single day, you're going to see the same thing, right? And unless something is standing right in that view at that time, you're not going to see it. So imagine if somebody called you up from their house down the street and was like, yo, do you know that there's a dog behind the tree on the other side of your house? No, because I'm looking out this window. Now imagine if you didn't answer the phone because you think you could see everything out that window. You wouldn't know that there's a dog behind the tree on the other side of your house. Well, that's enough of my rant today. Y'all have a safe and a love-filled Valentine's Day. And then that's another thing. Like I love like the evolution I've been seeing like on my timeline. I don't know about y'all timeline, but the people that I'm Facebook friends with, they are evolving, okay? Because all the single ladies, they're not talking about, man, here come this crappy holiday again, and why everybody want to make it all about love. Everybody talking about how they finna go love theyself. I'm like, yes, okay, I'm here for all of this. Yes, do that. And that's I would say that's the best way to show someone else how to love you is by letting them see you love yourself. Okay? They're like, oh, well, whatever you do for yourself, you know that's you know what you like. You know what you like to do. You know how you like to feel. So if someone else sees you doing that for yourself, they're like, oh, well, it looks like they like this, so I'm gonna just do this for them. And then, they can actually appreciate the love gesture because it's something that they actually are looking for. It's something that they actually see as love, as care. So when you do that for yourself, it makes it easier for you to not only show other people how to do that for you, but to ask for it as well. Like if someone be like, well, I want to do this, that, and the third, and for the day. Okay, that's cool if that's what you want to do and that's what you like. But I would prefer if we did too. And then guess what? Now y'all got a full day plan of things that both of y'all like. And both of you have fully voiced what you like to do. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, that's where all the arguments start. One person feels slighted or feels like they're compromised and they feel like the other person isn't giving up nothing or an equal amount of stuff to make something happen. Guess what? When you are vocal and you're honest about what it is that you're expecting, what it is that you're wanting, or what it is that makes you happy, you don't have to compromise. That's the dumbest idea ever. Compromise means both of you are losing. Life was not set up like that. God didn't say, guess what? When you get with this person, you're going to lose. Nope, never. Never, ever, ever. Not ever, nowhere, written nowhere. Pick a page in the Bible and tell me where God said that when you do something with somebody, you got to lose. I ain't never seen it. I ain't seen it not one time. So make sure that you know what you want. Otherwise, you will lose every time. You will be the only one compromising every single time because you're not even sure. So when this person shows up with conviction and confidence and asking or even demanding what they know they deserve, you're going to feel some type of way. You're going to shrink back and you're going to let them do them because you don't have that same confidence. You can't poke your chest down and say, well, that's fine. We can go and do that. But then I want some lamb chops. Like, as long as wherever we go and I get lamb chops, I don't care. Like that's how I am. Like I don't care what we do as long as this occurs at some point in time. And I'm happy the whole time. And then boom, and then I get my thing. I'm even happier. Like, okay, and we on our way. But if you don't even know what you want, you can't even set that situation up for yourself. Because it's you. You're the curator. It's your prefrontal cortex you got to put up in the mix. Okay? Ain't nobody else got access to that but you. And even your hormones can block your access to it, as you can see. So get yourself together, all right? Before you try and come together with somebody else, get yourself together first, all right? Get your hormones in line. Get your diet right. And I love, and this is another thing I love seeing all up and down the timeline, okay? It's a lot of men getting their self together. They're eating better. They're drinking more water. They're talking about their exercising. Like, for real. Because honestly, men, especially black men, they die much younger than we do. We're the reason why they even stay alive as long as they do. Like, seriously. And I'm so glad that a whole lot more of our kings are out here taking their own health, their own longevity into their own hands. Because ain't nobody gonna do it better than you. I promise you. Ain't nobody gonna take better care of you than yourself. All right. Yeah, she might love you, she might care for you, but it's gonna be so much stuff that you're gonna wish that she would give you, that even if you didn't know that you needed it, that if you took more time with yourself, you will be able to give it to yourself regardless. So I love to see that. Love to see more of it, more self-love. And that's exactly how we're gonna get each other love, unconditional love, and actually build a community and kingdom, right? Kingdom. That's how you get to kingdom right there. When you start with the love of yourself, it's the seed. That is the seed you plant. The self-love seed. When you plant that seed and you water it, it's going to grow into something beautiful and fruitful. And then guess what? When those fruits are when that tree bears that fruit, you can share it. That's where the fruit comes from. The fruit is not for you. Who is that? I forget who said that, Mary. It was like, the fruit ain't for you, the fruit for other people. A tree don't eat its own fruit. The fruit is meant to be eaten by something else and taken away from where the tree is so that the seeds can be planted in fertile soil away from the parent tree in its own space so that it can grow to its own potential and create its own fruit. That's the whole purpose. So when you plant that self-love seed, expect for it to bear fruit for someone else. Then that's when Pastor Claiborne. Then that's when you can give that to someone else. But if you haven't planted that self-love seed, what love fruit you giving to somebody? What you mean? I can't remember exactly what book it was, but I do remember reading in the Bible. They had told you, they were like, Jesus, we got this fig tree. It's gonna have the sweetest figs. And they painting it. They selling a dream, and Jesus was not buying that dream. He was like, "Well, where the fruit at? Y'all talking about it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. Well, you know what? I came all this way. Y'all ain't got no fruit because you said the fruit was gonna be this, that, and the third. Y'all ain't even had a fruit, and y'all promising me something y'all ain't even have. So guess what? That tree ain't never gonna bear no fruit. He cursed the tree." Because of their mouth. Their mouth was writing checks that they tree couldn't cash. And he cursed them to never bear fruit. Guess what that means? If you are telling somebody that you can love them in a certain way, you're not even loving yourself in that way. That's where the loneliness comes from. You're going to be cursed to be alone. You can be with this person for the rest of y'all lives, get married and all of that. You will still feel alone because you have cursed yourself by lying about the fruit that your tree is bearing, because your tree ain't even bearing no fruit because you ain't even planted the right seed for the fruit that you promising. So you don't even know if the tree that you got gonna bear the fruit that you promising. Because you don't even know for sure. You didn't plant no self-love seed. So there ain't no self-love tree that's bearing self-love fruit that you can share with somebody else. So how you telling somebody that that's what you giving? That ain't what you giving. Because you don't know. It sounds simple, but we complicate it all the time. We definitely do. All the time. Oh, there you go. Yep, appeared from afar to bear. Yep. Fake and fraud, that fake and fraud life, it never pays off. It never pays off because you can lie all day, but the truth is always revealed. And what they say, the truth shall set you free. You done took all my clips. She get. I don't know if y'all can see her. She got all my clips in her cut. The girl. She just be waiting for me to be out the way. I ain't even gonna lie. But that's all I got for y'all today. I've been ranting and raving enough. I would definitely say look up your body hormones. We have 12 different systems in our body, and they're all controlled by hormones. The hormones overlap because guess what? Your body is a system. So, and it's not a closed system. So whatever is released in one area of your body will affect your entire body in some way, shape, form, or fashion. If you do not understand what's going on with yourself, it's going to be very hard to curate your thoughts, to curate your inner feelings, to curate your desires and your actions. So the more you understand about your physical body, the more you can control your spiritual body and actually get in tune with what's going on. Because trust me, your spirit ain't never going to steer you wrong, but your physical body definitely will. And you'll definitely be confused about what your spirit is saying because you can't hear it, because your hormones are speaking too loud. So make sure you are in tune with your physical body. That's why the whole meditation explosion is coming along, because that's a very good way to quiet your physical body, to consciously shut down your own prefrontal cortex before your hormones do. Because if you're doing it consciously, then you know what that feels like. Then when your hormones come and do it to you involuntarily, you already know what's going on. It's like, oh wait, hold on, I remember this feeling when I was sitting quietly and I was quiet in that part of my mind. That's how that felt. And then you can pull yourself back out of that. You can work your way through whatever your hormones are trying to make you do. But if you are not consciously pushing your body in different and new ways, and you're not consciously researching your body and what things cause different things, then you're going to be at a loss when it happens, because it's going to happen regardless, whether you're aware of why it's happening or not. So that is my time, RockTrue Science, love day edition. Because I mean, Valentine's Day is cool, but I like Love Day. Love Day is better because it's like it just puts the focus on love, no matter what type of love it is. Self-love, other people love, family love, friend love, whatever. Love. Okay, Love Day. I like it. Love Day. So Love Day edition of RockTrue Science. Get your hormones in check, and be honest. Be honest and open with what you're going through, and somebody that cares is going to help you. So if you need help, ask for it. It's simple. It's real simple. Ask and you shall receive. Right there it is. now she's putting on the floor one at a time. All right, y'all have a wonderful love month, love year, love lifetime. Okay, and as always and forevermore, rock truth or nothing at all.